you recently were a part of history when you were there at Etihad Stadium in November 2015. You got to watch UFC 193, Lloyd.
I know, what an event. I remember buying tickets for this, not wanting to go. My friend had never gone to a UFC, and he goes, oh, look, I've never got... He lives in Melbourne. Shout out to Fernando. And I said, oh, look, I probably don't want to go see it. It's a Ronda Rousey fight. It's probably going to last 30 seconds. This fighter... Holm has only had a couple of fights in mixed martial arts. I know she's a boxing champion, a kickboxing champion. It's not going to be worth it. But you know what? I'll go with you because I'm the only friend he knows that really loves UFC. So I bought the tickets, went there. We also saw Joe Rogan perform the night before. I'm a huge fan of his podcast. And it was so good. He was absolutely amazing. Joe Rogan's stand-up act is phenomenal. And we waited backstage for him to come out. You know, and he did. There was only a handful of us there, surprisingly, and the whole theater was packed, and there was only a handful of us waiting to take pictures with him. I shook hands with Joe Rogan, and I said, it's an honor to meet you, and I took a photo with him, which was great. But the next day we woke up for the UFC. We barely had any sleep, and we were there from like 10 a.m., and the main fight was like at 5 p.m., so we saw all the undercards. I was so tired, I was like zoning in and out of some of the fights, like not putting the UFC down or anything. It's just fatigue, you know, like traveling to Melbourne, you know, not getting enough sleep, walking all around Melbourne and so forth. And I also caught up with you, Dave, which was great. Thanks for showing me around Melbourne. And then I remember, like, there were great cards before that, but I remember when Ronda Rousey was coming out, the pre-fight videos, UFC have really got that down. The music, the tension, everything, you know, just really energized us. But we all thought, oh, this is going to last 30 seconds and we'll go home. And the very first punch that Holm throws, the lead left straight, just hitting Ronda Rousey. And Ronda Rousey is such a phenomenon for women's sports, such a phenomenon for the world. Like, the fact that the entire world tuned in at a packed Etihad Stadium for a woman in combat sports is absolutely phenomenal. This was talked about all over the world, the events that took place there, which is, just wrap your head around it. You know, we always associate fights with a Mike Tyson figure or a Chuck Liddell or Anderson Silva and so forth, or a Manny Pacquiao Mayweather, but a woman now holds center court. That is absolutely amazing. And when she charges out at Holmes, you know, no respect for her striking, and the first punch that lands, you see the frustration, and there was just this alarm throughout the whole arena. It was just like, oh my gosh, what's happening to Ronda Rousey? Bam, another one, bam, another one. And the lateral movement confusing Ronda Rousey. You could see her pride refusing to accept what's happening. Like, her physicality was just like, no, this isn't going to happen. You know, and she was so bloodied at the end of the first round. There was a few scrambles and everything. And her corner, I had to watch this later, her corner was like saying, yeah, you're doing everything right, just keep going at her. You know, it was just like weird instructions. Second round comes out, we all thought, okay, she lost the striking, take her down. She doesn't. She continues to fight on, and she throws a wild left hook at Holmes, and Holmes ducks and moves away, and Ronda Rousey collapses to her knees and then struggles to find her. At that moment, that was one of the most terrifying things I have ever seen, that this phenomenal force that has ran through 11 opponents is now in the ring against a monster, and it was so scary. She gets hit again by a straight left, falls to her knees, tries to get up, gathering herself, where is she, and then a left kick came up, smacked her right in the chin. She falls unconscious. The ref's not sure what's happened. All of us aren't sure what happened, and then Holmes comes running and smashing her in the head, an unconscious Ronda Rousey, and the ref stopping it. We all stood up. All of Melbourne stood up and screamed in terror. It was one of the most terrifying things, Dave, I have ever seen. I'm sure you've seen the highlights.
Well, this is it. It was shared on the news, on every Facebook feed, website, Twitter exploded. It was a huge historic moment, Lloyd, and I'm happy that you could be there for it.
It was like, because Ronda Rousey didn't even touch gloves before the fight. She gave a lot of disrespect. She's done it to all her opponents. It's like Icarus with the wings. You know, he's been given these wings to fly, and the dad says, don't fly too high to the sun. But he gets too crazy with the wings, flies too high to the sun, and the wings melt and falls to a doom. That's what happened. She just had no respect for the opponent, thought she was just going to run through her, and oh my gosh, it was so horrible, Dave.
Made me think of Brock Lesnar a little bit. Just in terms of the UFC, I suppose, and I'm not an expert, but if you're only doing 30-second fights, you're not getting a lot of ring time.
Great point.
To learn everything. I mean, and as well, I mean, Ronda Rousey's been thrown into the spotlight. She's been in the Fast and Furious movie.
Yeah, where does she get time to train? It's exhausting doing all those interviews. She's written a book. She's about to shoot a movie. Like she said, after that fight, I'm going off to Indonesia with Mark Wahlberg and Peter Berg to shoot a movie, an original story. It's just like, maybe you should focus on the most dangerous job that you're involved with, other than joining the army. She is in the most dangerous thing you can ever imagine. She's going into an arena against a trained killer. Where is her focus? But then again, you got guys like Manny Pacquiao, who's, you know, running the Philippines in Congress or something, and he's still fighting savagely. You know, I don't know.
Well, I mean, all we can say really is Ronda Rousey will be back, won't she?
I hope so. Like, I really like Ronda Rousey. She's such a phenomenal figure. What she's done for women's sports, what she's done for the image of women worldwide, I think is absolutely phenomenal. She's a beautiful woman, speaks incredibly eloquently. Like, I love hearing her talk, and it's great to see her in movies. Like, I sort of bashed her on Fast and Furious 7. You know, she was terrible in that terrible delivery of lines, but I saw her in Expendables 3, and she was fantastic. Like, I really liked her. She just had so much presence, you know. She
got a big part in the Entourage movie too.
Oh yeah, in the Entourage movie, we both said that she wasn't bad in that as well, you know. So she's very relevant in so many different arenas, and the fact that she's a very beautiful woman, you know, she's just absolutely phenomenal. And you know, it's just heartbreaking seeing a destruction of a legend, you know, like, and it wasn't just one hit. That's the end. It was a real breakdown, like the legs go, the arms go, the humiliation follows, and then finally the death blow is delivered. It was really shocking. It was, yeah.
Thanks for watching. If you like what you see, please hit the subscribe button. Like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter. Check out our podcast at www.podmeifyoucan.com.